Welcome to Tactile Talks with your host, Ken Huizinga, the show about everything digital embellishment.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tactile Talks, where we talk about everything relevant in embellishment. And today I have a very special guest, Joe DeBoy. He's from NAPCO, and I look forward to talking to him today and would like to welcome you, Joe. Welcome.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Joe, I met you at Amplify in June, and you were one of the people that shares my enthusiasm for the world of embellishment. And we got to talking for a long time, and I thought that our audience deserved to hear some of the things that you have to say about embellishment. They were quite insightful. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe when you got into printing and when embellishment first became part of your life?
Yeah, great. Look, I've been in commercial print for 27, 28 years now. And when I first came on, the printing company I worked for was one of the premier printers in the area, up in the Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. And we had in-house foil stamping, embossing, die cutting. We had all that in-house. We didn't farm that stuff out to a trade bindery. So that sort of separated us from the rest of us. So I've known about embellishments since the very start of my career in the printing industry. So always loved foil stamping, always loved the embossing. Of course, the spot UV came a few years later, and then of course the textured UV came a little while after that. But I've always had it in my blood. I love it. I think it adds so much value to anything, commercial print, booklets, brochures, and packaging, of course, because I'm in the packaging industry now with NAPCO packaging. Yeah, I always had it in my blood. Love it, crave it, love to see it. Everywhere I go, I look for it, like Warren's in the retail stores all the time, showing everyone how much embellishment is everywhere, and it truly is. And so I'm really excited about the digital embellishment world, how it's growing, and it's going to be a part of this industry for a long time.
I agree. Everything you just said. Can you tell us a little bit about NAPCO?
Yeah, NAPCO Packaging. We're a packaging company, custom packaging company. We have two locations, one in Sparta, North Carolina, and one in the Birmingham, Alabama area. We specialize in custom packaging, rigid packaging, not short, rigid packaging. Think of the Apple iPhone box. That's a rigid box. We also do folding carton. We have digital embellishment, the digital foil, the digital UV, textured UV, all that cool stuff that you and I talk about. We do a lot of binders, that type of finishing as well. But we're not a commercial printer per se. We are a finishing company, a custom packaging company with printing capabilities and embellishment capabilities. We're certainly growing that in the coming months, in the coming years. We're expanding the digital print footprint that we're building now.
What specific digital embellishment equipment do you have in your shop?
We have the MGI. We have the Iconic Minolta KM1 inkjet press, and then we have the MGI beside it with the digital embellishment.
How have you found the marriages between those two pieces of equipment?
There's some challenges. There's some challenges anytime you start bringing something new. There's a learning curve. There's a process. There's limitations. Just got to figure out what those limitations are and show the customer what those limitations are and guide them towards what we can do the best and keep them away from what might not look the best. So we have an in-house design department that works with the customers, and they tweak things and guides them to what will give them the best result for what they're looking for.
Now, you're in business development and you head out to talk to clients about using this type of technology. What type of clients do you typically go after, and are all clients potential customers for digital embellishment?
In the packaging world, I think all clients are a potential customer for this. We go after more, I don't want to say the luxury world, but products that have a little higher selling point. To add digital embellishment to a folding carton, it's not super cheap. It's not super expensive compared to the traditional world, but it does add some price to your unit costs. So if you're selling a $2 product, it's going to be tough to add that digital embellishment. But if you're selling a $10 product, it might be well worth adding that digital embellishment to increase the potential of the sale. It's all about, in packaging, it's all about perceived value, what the consumer sees on that shelf, right? You want them to pick that package up. If they pick that package up, there's science out there, data that says, hey, if they pick it up, there's a pretty good chance they're going to buy it. So you need that. I'm going to talk about a colleague of ours, Carrie Radistock from Hippo Packaging. out in California. She uses the word shout. And I love that word. I love that term, shout. It's got to shout at you on that shelf. You need that consumer to pick that thing up, put it in their hand. And once they put it in their hand, it's a pretty good chance they're going to purchase that product. So
Yeah, it does seem like
you got to separate yourself. You got to separate yourself from the competition.
does seem like it's all about intimacy and how long the client does spend with a finished product. It's exciting to hear you talk about that. Was it a hard sell internally? Is it hard to get your sales staff on board and get them to understand all the things that you just mentioned?
I'll tell you, when Rocky Profit brought me on and he showed me the MGI and the KM1, I'm like, this will sell itself. This is great. I'm going to be the best salesperson in the whole world because this stuff's going to sell itself. But we found that's not quite true. Getting these smaller brands to hop on board, it's a challenge. It really is, because you're taking away from their profit margin when you add the embellishment, right, to the unit pricing. And it's tough to get the customer to understand that adding the embellishment is going to increase the volume, so they're going to sell more product. So they might not get as much profit margin by increasing their unit pricing, but if they sell more, they can grab that profit back. So it's reduce your profit margin by adding the embellishment, but sell more product. And that's the strategy I go into with sales. Look, you're going to sell more product with this digital embellishment. It's going to cut into your profit, your unit price, your unit margin, but you'll sell more product. So that's the strategy and the tactics I take when I go to sell to potential customers.
Joe, do you find there's a lot of reorders and rework because of the products that you've produced and how
Yep.
unique you are, or NAPCO is?
Yeah. That's one of the biggest things, Ken, is they hop on board and they put the digital embellishments on their packaging and they see how much they increase their sales. Not only do you get reprints, you get them faster, you get them quicker because they're selling out of their product more frequently. So instead of reprinting 3 or 4 times a year, it might be 5 or 6 times a year. So yeah, it really has boosted the reprint on particular products because they are selling more product. Absolutely.
I know one of the difficult things to close a sale was often samples and or press proofs. How does NAPCO handle that internally? And do you guys have quite an assortment of samples to be able to give customers to touch? Because I know that can be very important.
Yeah, that's a great question, Ken. And yeah, we figured out, hey, if we go in and try to sell them the digital embellishment and they're not quite sold on it yet, we'll suggest, hey, let us do your press proof. Let us show you what you can have. And we'll run a couple press proofs for them, send them to them. And this is before and this is after. We'll put the two side by side on the same press sheet, and we'll send it to them. This is what you want, and this is what you can have for another 50 cents, 60 cents, whatever it might be. And once they see it, feel it, touch it, man, it's a much easier sell. Again, they have to run some numbers and tweak some things, and it might not be this particular run, but maybe the next run. But yeah, once they get on board, they're pretty hooked. And when it comes to marketing pieces, we've done some great marketing pieces. Again, between our structural engineers up in North Carolina facility and our design department down in Birmingham, Alabama area, they work hard together. They collaborate. Put some really great marketing pieces out for us. We actually just won an award out in the print show out in Ohio a couple weeks ago for best packaging. It was a box self-promoting marketing piece. And it was all done digitally. It was digitally printed. It was digitally embellished. Everything was done digitally, and it won best packaging. So we're pretty proud about that. We're starting to get a couple more marketing pieces out there as well for different industries. We're going industry specific for a couple of different marketing pieces, and maybe I can share them with you in the months to come if you have me back on at any time in the future.
That's great. Awesome that you won awards. That sounds like an amazing piece. I'd love to see it. You talked about collaboration between your marketing department and your pre-press people. Was it hard to get that started? Because it's very unique that you were able to get so many people involved to help you produce the products you need to sell digital print. And I think others might have difficulty getting everybody on board. How did you handle that?
I think that selling it to the internal people is easy. They love the creativeness. They love being creative. They love the new things. They love trying new things. So between the structural engineers and the design team, they're bouncing ideas off each other and collaborating. And it's really been very easy to sell it internally because we want to get that message out there. We want to get those samples out there, show everybody what they can have. So internally it was great. And Dominic and his team in the pre-press department and the creative department, they love it. They love everything about it. So easy sell internally. These graphic designers, they love showing their creativeness. So it was pretty easy selling internally.
Awesome. When NAPCO decided to invest in it was a big capital purchase. Were there a lot of decisions that had to be made internally as far as how successful they thought it would be, how busy the machine would be? Was it an easy justification for them?
It is when you have a core count. We have a core count that sort of helped us make that decision, right? When you have that core count who wants to hop on board with you and keep that press pretty busy, both printing and digital embellishment, plus other than die cutting, folding, gluing as well. So we have a core count that helps make that decision for us. Now, there's a lot of open press space that we have to fill, and that's my job to bring a lot of that work in there to fill that press space up. But if you have that core count on board, it's pretty easy decision.
It's exciting to hear what you guys are up to, and I know NAPCO has invested in even some more equipment that's going to make it more exciting for you. Do you hope that the new equipment that you're buying enhances embellishment?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the new equipment we're buying is for the rigid box making industry, and you don't see a whole lot of digital embellishment on rigid. Every once in a while you do, but we're hoping that adding this new rigid short run program we're launching in North Carolina, adding that digital embellishment to that will really heighten the sales and the capabilities that we're going to throw out to our customers.
Joe, thank you. I'm quite sure that anybody thinking about dabbling in the world of embellishment is going to find all this information very helpful. I thank you for being my guest. And as you expand your offerings to your customers, I'd love to talk to you again sometime.
Yeah, great. And look, if you don't mind, Ken, I'm going to read you one quote, and it's from Steve Jobs. You know, I talked about the Apple iPhone box. I still have all of mine sitting in a file cabinet in my closet. I don't throw them away because they're so great. But Steve Jobs says, people do judge a book by its cover. We may have the best product, the highest quality, the most useful software, etc. If we present them in a slipshod manner, they will be perceived as slipshod. If we present them in a creative, professional manner, we will impute the desired qualities. So, the same thing with digital embellishment. Get the digital embellishment on your packaging and present it as a valued product, and you'll see what happens. So, yeah, I just want to throw that in there. I thought it was a great quote by Steve Jobs.
It's no wonder you're good at your job, Joe. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
All right, Ken, take care, man. Thanks for having me on.